And we have a go for auto sequence start. Discovery's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions. Start, 2, 1, boost ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery returning to the space station.
Welcome to the Launchpad. I'm your host, Harry Washington. And those of you new to the show is sponsored by Pursuing a Dream Corporation. Pursuing a Dream Corporation is a nonprofit organization that encourages students in grades K through 12 to pursue degrees and careers in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. And today our focus is women in STEM. This is a two-part segment. Our guest today will be Ms. Dawn Hewitt of the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs at York College. Ms. Hewitt, welcome to the show.
Hi, Harry. Thanks.
Now, how's the weather in New York?
The weather in New York is pretty cold. It's cold, but thank goodness there is no snow.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, describe to our audience, what's your role at York College?
Well, as the Director of Research and Sponsored Programs at York, I'm responsible for submitting all grant proposals, contracts for research funding, for faculty, for the institution. I also work with the faculty in preparing these grants and contracts to be submitted for external funding. And then I also make sure we comply to the rules and regulations for the federal government. I do workshops for faculty regarding research, development, and grant writing. And I also work closely with our provost on two programs that we have. A junior, the JSHS, which is Junior Science Humanities Symposium, that's funded by the Department of Defense. And also we do a showcase of high school students in the spring for research.
Now, how long have you been working with the university?
I've been working at York College for 9.5 years.
Wow. I mean, that's awesome. Now, do you have a background as it relates to STEM?
Yes, I actually have an undergraduate degree in environmental science.
Oh, excellent.
And then from there, I started working with the National Institute of Health.
Okay.
In Washington, in Maryland, Bethesda.
Oh, excellent. And you didn't want to stay here?
I did. But New York is home, so at
Gotcha.
some point they say you have to come back home.
Now, tell our audience, what influenced your interest in STEM?
Well, growing up as a child, I was sort of like the only girl in a pretty much all-male family with male cousins.
Okay.
And so that's kind of who I had to play with. So the boys were always into pulling things apart and putting them back together.
Okay.
Even in, I was born in the Caribbean.
Okay.
That's what we did. So in playing with them, that's exactly what I did. So I got interested in sort of the little tomboyish things and playing with the boy cousins so that I would have somebody to play with.
Okay. Okay. Now, what were some of your favorite subjects in school?
My favorite subject was always science. I always loved biology, chemistry, organic and inorganic chemistry, not so much, but physics. But I loved biology and also environmental sciences.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Now, what schools did you attend for your undergraduate?
Undergraduate, I went to St. John's University in New York.
Okay. And what about graduate?
At graduate school, I went to American University in Washington, D.C., and then I came back again and just completed a second master's at St. John's University in New York again.
But now, and the relevance of those questions, just going through your professional experience, how many women did you come across that were pursuing degrees in sciences?
Well, when I was in school, not many.
Okay.
When I did undergraduate at St. John's, not many. It was pretty much the same thing with faculty. I don't recall in undergraduate having any female faculty teaching in the sciences. And
it's very interesting because often when you look at the public school system, whether the lower or the secondary, there's an abundance of school teachers that are females. But in terms of universities, there's this disparity. What do you think is one of the causes for that?
I think it's sort of like it's in high school, when we start separating, I think in elementary school, everybody's allowed to do what they want and go after their passion. But in high school, I think that's when we start being separated.
Okay.
And in sort of the STEM courses, I think the teachers lean towards asking the young men the questions.
Okay.
You know, so they become more competitive while the young ladies, you know, are sitting there, you know, like, well, nobody's calling on me. So the passion isn't instilled in them and pushed in them, I think, so much as it is young men.
Because there's been this huge push to get young ladies, or girls, females, to pursue STEM. Now, what kind of obstacles do you think girls face versus boys?
Well, I personally don't think there are any obstacles.
Okay.
I think you can do whatever it is you want to do.
Okay.
But it's getting, I guess, you know, sort of changing. And I think society has changed, because I see it's been a big shift from when I went to college now. So I think it's more about the confidence in the young ladies that we need to instill.
Okay.
Let them know that they can be anything that they want to be.
Okay. And we've had a number of programs. We have a number of guests that have worked with different programs that work with females, and they pretty much kind of say the same thing as you in terms of instilling confidence. Well, how do you instill confidence in a lot of these young ladies? And I mean, more importantly, how do you get them to see that STEM is important?
Well, how do we instill confidence? By being fair.
Okay.
So in class, call on the girls, the young ladies, as much as you do the guys.
Okay.
You know, when you talk about a job, it's not, you know, it's not generalized or to a particular gender. For instance, you know, I've read a study that young ladies that attend all-girls high school come out with a higher degree of confidence than those in sort of a mixed school. Why? Because there's no competition in the all-girls school except for amongst themselves. So they don't need to wear makeup because they're not trying to check out the cute young man. They don't need to think. So they're competing against each other. They're excelling. You know, they're supporting each other, and therefore, so they're more grounded. And when they come out, they'll tackle anything.
So, Don, are you saying boys are the distraction?
No, I'm just saying that even the teacher will have a tendency to call on the boy more than the young lady.
Okay. Now, I mean, in terms of looking at York College, what things has York College done to keep, in terms of retention, to keep young girls focused as it relates to STEM?
Well, we have, like, for instance, in our math department, we have a faculty that sponsors a conference, Women in Mathematics.
Excellent.
So she has speakers coming by, women speakers that are excelled in the field, to come, and there's a symposium. So there's students invited, a lot of the women, of course, and to hear this, and it's publicized. We also run a SEMER program, which is funded through NASA. It goes from first grade to high school. And we encourage the girls, so the girls get to participate, depending on what grade they're in the same activities. Like they learn how to make ice cream. They learn how to shoot off a rocket.
Wow.
So they're all in there, and so the excitement that we see. But not only that, a couple of years ago, they started what's called a Parents Cafe. While the students are in the program on Saturday, it runs for a week during the summer, but we have it for 6 or 7 weeks during the fall on a Saturday. We have what's called a Parents Cafe. So the parents are in there, and the parents are learning the importance of STEM. They're doing experiments, so they're learning some of the things their kids are learning, so that they too could, you know, keep that fire burning. And we have different speakers during the 6 weeks, and I'm one of the speakers there. And my role is to tell them about STEM, and to help to promote it, to the understanding of the importance in STEM in not just the career field, but actually in your everyday life.
What's normally the turnout for these programs?
Very good, very good. The kids love it, so we have lots of kids. And the Parents Cafe, surprisingly, because the parents are there from 9 to 12, so that's a lot of time to give up on a Saturday.
Exactly.
And the parents are there quite a bit.
Now, in terms of, again, looking at your college, what percentage of females actually are pursuing degrees? Because they have shown some research that, not even just females, but even males, that often a lot of students, once they get to maybe, I think, past what, sophomore, junior, senior years, they tend not to focus on STEM degrees in those fields. They start looking at other fields. So what percentage of females are actually pursuing degrees, STEM degrees at York?
Our 2013 number shows 50%.
Excellent. Excellent. And what would you say accounts for those numbers?
I think the faculty that we have here, the diversity.
Okay.
So here at York, you have a diverse faculty, a diverse student body.
Okay.
So you can see somebody that resembles you, no matter what race, ethnicity that you are.
Okay.
And you see them in the role as professor. So that with seeing that, you know you too can aspire there.
Excellent.
As you walk into our campus, right in our atrium, we have flags from all the students that have attended college.
Okay.
From different countries.
Okay.
So we have an enormous amount of different flags.
Okay. That's excellent. Now, what would you say makes STEM, I mean, just again, from your professional experience, what makes STEM fun? Because every student doesn't see it the same, but what makes it fun?
It has to do with the teacher, because I asked, again, I went to a elementary school a couple of years ago to talk about that.
Okay.
And when we realized STEM is not something new, or STEM isn't really just, science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
Right.
STEM is a way of life.
Exactly.
Because you need that in everything you do. You need to understand STEM.
Exactly.
To excel in anything, to do anything. So, things get hard. When things get hard and you start getting to high school and, junior, senior year, or you're taking the chemistry, the physics, and it gets hard.
Okay.
Then one of two things. Even as adults, when something gets hard, we don't want to deal with it. So as adults, we'll put it on the back burner.
Exactly.
Well, that's the same thing with a child. But as parents then, and as teachers, we need to encourage them to explain to them life in itself is hard.
Okay.
So, and to have them understand that this is going to help them understand life and be able to deal with it a little more. If you can't add, how are you going to go to the grocery store? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to know what you're doing? If you don't understand science, how are you going to know that mushroom may be poisonous, whereas this one isn't?
Right. And you're saying basically show more of the practical aspect of it.
Show them the practical aspect and the practical uses, because today's kids, that's what they're into. If you can show them this is the context,
okay,
this is the impact on you, then it's like, oh, I get it. Whereas our generation, we just did what we were told to do.
Exactly. But in keeping with that question in terms of the working with a different generation, what do you think if you were put in that position, maybe being a teacher, how would you motivate a group of girls to look at STEM?
Well, it's interesting that you said that. My niece was a senior in high school, and she hated math.
Oh, wow.
She was getting ready to take a math test to go into college, and her parents were like, it's been a long time since I've been in school. And I go, so have I. But they were like, could you help her? So I was asking her, well, what are your problems? What are the issues? And we were going, I don't like math, I don't sing. And what I got to find out, it's not that she didn't like it. When you don't understand it and think you can't do it,
right, it's
easier to just say you don't like it. And so what I realized is, though, the way math, for instance, is being taught now is a lot different than when we were taught math. It's
very true.
A lot more complicated for whatever reason. So to go back to the basics, like long division or something like that, and, when she would do a problem, and I'm sitting here like, oh, my gosh, like, why are there so many steps? Well, this is what she's learned. Well, no, this is kind of how we were taught.
Right.
And to explain it to her, and once she started to understand, you saw such a difference in her face.
Okay.
And now she's in college and she's taking math, and she's telling me, Auntie, I understand the math. So that isn't so bad after all. So I think it's getting the children to understand it and to understand its relative, ness to life.
Exactly.
And sometimes to even make it fun.
And you're right. And I think that's the part that gets forgotten is that it can be fun. It can be cool. You know, it often gets a negative stigma, but those things do exist. It can be fun. It can be cool. But even in terms of research, well, how do you turn the light bulb on for a student that show them that research is important?
Well, here at York, the students, as part of the STEM students, have to participate in research.
Okay.
I also found out even our occupational therapy program that we have here, that's mandatory as part of that program for the students to understand research and to participate in research. And you find we have an undergraduate research day, which was started 3 years ago here, where the students do a poster, and it's out in the atrium of the college in the hallway throughout the day.
Excellent.
These students are so proud to show off their work and love for somebody to stop by and ask them, you know, what it is that they're doing. We also sponsor a summer research initiative program for high school kids.
Excellent.
Where we actually pair them with a faculty member, with a mentor, and they do a research project, and they do a presentation at the end.
Excellent. John, just in closing, what can, and I know we hit on a lot of this, but just maybe for those who probably missed these points, what can parents and educators do to influence young girls to start getting ready for college and to think about career fields related to STEM?
To actually not give up on them. To see them. To see them, to listen to them, to hear their dreams. If she wants to be an astronaut,
right?
Not to say, well, you know, honey, that's really hard, or that's not, you know, there are not that many women astronauts. But by saying, what does it take to be an astronaut? How do you plan to achieve that?
Excellent.
So to continue to push them, to continue to encourage them, but most of all, to continue to nurture them.
Excellent. Any final words, Don?
Well, I think this is a great segment, and I think it's great to encourage not just girls, but all our kids to understand that STEM isn't a field, but that STEM is an everyday way of life.
Excellent. We'd like to thank Ms. Dawn Hewitt for joining us. I'm taking a break from her busy schedule. That's our program for today. Thanks for joining us. Again, this is a two-part segment, so stay tuned for the next segment. Next segment.
Thanks, Harry.
Not a problem.
Take care. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Good morning. My name is Vernon Gregoire, and I'm a financial technician at the Department of Agriculture in Beltsville, which is Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, which is under USDA. I've been working there for 8 years. The mission of USDA is basically to do research on high agricultural problems.
Hello, my name is Tamara Massey-Jones-Paul, and I'm a health informatics scientist at the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Hello, I'm Candace Rogers. I'm the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Capital College. We're a small engineering and technology school in Laurel, Maryland. We have roughly 400 undergraduates, a 12-to-1 student-teacher ratio. We're the only private college in the state of Maryland dedicated to engineering, computer sciences, and cybersecurity.
Good morning. I'm Richard Cooper, and we belong to Civil Air Patrol. Basically, we are all volunteer organization. We are auxiliary to the United States Air Force. We have 3 missions: emergency services, aerospace, and leadership. Our latest mission was an F-15 pilot that went down. We are capable of doing ground team and air side. We have a STEM program.
Space Telescope Science Institute. That's a fancy way of saying that I'm from a place where maybe some of you have heard of a very special telescope. Have you ever heard of the Hubble Space Telescope? Maybe you've seen some pictures from outer space of stars and other planets and galaxies. Well, we have a short kind of presentation today. Look and study those glasses, study these lights, okay?
Not using your glasses yet.
We're not using your glasses. I need some help. I need helpers. Raise your hand if you can tell me something about what you see here. Just using your regular eyes. Yes. She sees different colors. What colors do you see? Oh, that's an interesting image. Now, I've got good news for you. When we're filtering out certain things, and the red seemed to filter out certain parts here, it made it possible for you to see the message. Now,
okay, so I am a teacher in London, coming up today. I'm actually a student, and I'm learning chemical engineering.
Yeah. I'm Pavani. I'm also learning chemical engineering, and I will be a mad scientist today.
My name is Simon. I am an aspiring bioengineer, and I'm going to introduce some of the ideas today.
So, none of that start forming. It's at the top. So it's the least depth of all. It has the stuff is far apart. And then it's the oil. This oil is here. It's on top of the oil. It's a little more depth. Then you have these. They're right between the oil and the water, right? So where would the value stop?
Okay, my name is Adrian Johnson. I'm a chemical engineer at Montgomery College.
And I'm Israel, and I'm electrical engineer.
Hi, my name is Prince. I am an animator and a game designer.
Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Agatha Lynch, and I am a psychologist and a professor at Louis State University.
Hello, my name is Tamara John Hall, and I'm a computer scientist that applies to healthcare applications, and I was a previously an adjunct professor.
I'm Jesse Parker. I'm with Hewitt Academy, and I'm with STEM program, science, technology, and computer.
My name is Richard Cooper. I'm with the Civil Air Patrol, and I'm also a pilot.
I've designed a lot of games. Actually, I'm designing one right now with some of my students for Android phones and iPad. To be a game designer, you need to know how to program.
We have to think about dreams and what do you want for your child. That's what I ask parents all the time.
So one of the things that we try to do, and especially with the STEM program, because and with Civil Air Patrol, because we are heavy into aviation.
I think in my undergraduate classes, I was the only Black female in all my undergraduate classes, and in my PhD program, in all my courses, I also was the only Black female, and only the second person to get a PhD was a Black female from UCLA.
A need for young girls to stay involved in STEM. As you saw here and witnessed today, kids were excited about learning about these things. They saw that science is fun. And there's a lot of research that shows that kids in general are very interested in the sciences until they get around 4th or 5th grade, when the intensity of learning shifts, social circles become more important, and